All right, Libra, let's get into your reading. All right, the energy that I have for you today is this. What they feel goes way past attraction. This is no longer a passing interest or surface level fascination. This has become all-consuming love. The kind of love that rattles a person from the inside out, rewriting their priorities completely. Something shifted inside of them recently, and it did not land gently. It crashed through every wall. They woke up one morning and realized that casual would never describe what lives in their chest. The magnitude of what they carry for you has stunned even them because none of it was expected. You walked into their world and rearranged the furniture of their entire emotional landscape without even trying. Nothing looks the same to them anymore, and the terrifying part is they do not want it to. Let us go ahead and dive into this because the cards back up every bit of that energy. Every card drawn today echoes the same undeniable frequency, confirming that their feelings have crossed a permanent threshold. The connection between you two has matured into something potent, layered, and impossible to walk away from. The first card I have for you is the Ace of Cups, overflowing with brand new emotional beginnings. The Ace of Cups confirms what this person feels is fresh, authentic, and unlike anything from their past. Old love had conditions attached to it. Old love came with reservations and fine print and quiet limitations. What they feel for you carries none of that baggage. The Ace of Cups says this is pure. Their heart cracked wide open without permission, and from that opening poured a flood that terrified them. The Ace of Cups does not show up for lukewarm connections. It arrives when love reaches overflow. Every feeling they tried to keep measured has spilled over the edges, soaking into every corner of awareness. They cannot contain it anymore, and the resistance they once held has dissolved into something resembling surrender. A spiritual element runs through what they feel for you, as though their soul recognized yours instantly. The Ace of Cups says this love chose them before they had any chance to choose it back. The next card arriving is the Four of Wands, revealing the foundation already forming beneath this connection. The Four of Wands tells me this person sees you as home, not metaphorically, but viscerally and deeply. Stability is something they crave with you specifically, a future built on warmth and loyalty and unshakable trust. The Four of Wands confirms they have begun imagining a life where you occupy the center permanently. Celebration lives inside this card, mirroring the quiet joy that fills them whenever your name crosses their mind. Being around you activates a version of them that feels lighter, braver, and more aligned with their truth. The Four of Wands says they stopped questioning whether this is real because the answer overwhelmed every doubt. What they envision with you is not fantasy. It is a blueprint quietly being constructed brick by brick. Their feelings have graduated from infatuation into something architectural, something designed to last and weather every storm. The foundation beneath this bond is not imagined. It is felt in every interaction and confirmed by time. Then we have the Two of Cups, and this card seals the confirmation of mutual recognition between souls. The Two of Cups reveals this person views your bond as a mirror, reflecting back their deepest truth. They see themselves most clearly when standing beside you, and that clarity has become addictive for them. Partnership is not just desire anymore. The Two of Cups confirms it has become an emotional necessity. The balance between giving and receiving feels effortless, and that ease frightens them because it feels rare. Rare enough to protect fiercely, rare enough to lose sleep over, rare enough to rearrange a life for. The Two of Cups says what exists between you carries the weight of something fated and deliberately designed. This is not random attraction that fades when novelty wears thin. This love has anchored itself permanently deep. Every card pulled confirms the identical message. What they feel for you has crossed far beyond simple attraction. This person is crazily and completely in love with you, and the cards leave zero room for doubt.
Now, let us go deeper into this, because your side of this connection carries its own heavy weight. You have been feeling things lately that refuse to fit into any neat box you have tried building. The emotions running through your system are intense, confusing, and far bigger than you expected. Part of you recognizes what is happening in your heart, but another part refuses to accept it. You keep catching yourself mid-thought, wondering if what you feel is real or completely invented. The questioning has become exhausting, circling through your mind on a loop that never finds clean resolution. Your body already knows the truth your brain keeps debating, and that disconnect has been draining you. There are moments when certainty hits you so hard it almost knocks the breath from your lungs. The first card on your side is the Seven of Cups, and it mirrors your internal landscape perfectly. The Seven of Cups reveals you have been lost in possibility, overwhelmed by every direction your heart pulls. Options swirl around you constantly, fantasies mixing with fears until nothing feels grounded or solid anymore. You cannot tell which feelings to trust because each one arrives carrying equal force and equal urgency. The Seven of Cups says clarity has been elusive, hidden behind a thick fog of emotional overload. Daydreams consume more of your energy than you admit, pulling you into vivid scenarios that feel entirely real. You have been building entire futures in your head, then dismantling each one before it touches the ground. Hoping and retreating in cycles has left you dizzy, emotionally seasick from the constant internal back and forth. What the Seven of Cups wants you to see is that confusion does not cancel out truth. Your feelings are not wrong because the arrival was chaotic. The chaos is simply the delivery method. Beneath every spiraling thought lives a core knowing that has remained steady, unchanged beneath all the noise. You feel something powerful and consistent. The only variable has been your willingness to name it. The next card here is Strength, and it speaks directly to the courage growing quietly inside of you. Strength confirms you are braver than the fear suggests, more resilient than the doubt would have you believe. Beneath the hesitation lives a fierce determination that has been gathering force, waiting for permission to emerge. You have survived emotional upheaval before and rebuilt from it, and that history lives in your bones. Strength says you do not need every answer figured out before you allow yourself to feel fully. The permission you keep waiting for already exists. It has been living inside of you all along. Your heart is not fragile, even when the fear insists otherwise. Strength confirms you can hold this weight. Trusting yourself has been the hardest part of this experience, harder than trusting the connection itself. Yet even through the doubt, something unshakable in you has held on, refusing to release what you feel. Strength reveals your softness is not a liability. It is the very thing that makes this bond possible. The vulnerability you guard so carefully is what opens the door. And the card says, stop hiding it. Then we have the Queen of Cups, carrying the emotional validation your spirit has been quietly craving. The Queen of Cups confirms your emotional intelligence about this situation has been accurate from the very start. You sensed the depth of what was forming long before evidence confirmed it, and that instinct was correct. Your ability to read unspoken layers of this connection is a gift, not a curse or overreaction. The Queen of Cups says you have been absorbing signals that most people would completely miss or dismiss. Your sensitivity to the energy surrounding this bond is not imagination. It is precision disguised as intuition. Honoring what you feel without needing external proof is the lesson this card brings to your reading tonight. You already possess every tool required to navigate what approaches. The Queen of Cups makes that absolutely clear. Every card on your side points toward one realization. You are ready, even if readiness feels terrifying. Your heart has known the truth longer than your mind, and the cards say, trust that knowing completely. So let us go ahead and get into it, because their internal world is on fire right now. What is happening inside this person cannot be overstated. The intensity of it borders on overwhelming. The love in their chest has outgrown every container they have tried to shove it into. No logic or rationalization has been able to shrink what they feel back to a manageable size. This person did not ask for this level of attachment. It arrived uninvited and planted itself permanently. The roots of what they carry have burrowed deep. Pulling it out would mean dismantling who they are. Their waking hours are consumed by a gravitational pull toward one direction that resistance cannot stop. Even in crowds, their mind isolates one single thought and returns to it obsessively without effort. The first card on their side is the Knight of Wands, revealing a fiery, restless energy within. The Knight of Wands shows this person burning from the inside, driven by a passion that terrifies. Nothing calm lives beneath their surface right now. Every emotion runs hot and fast and reckless. An urgency pulses through their veins constantly, a need to act that they keep forcefully suppressing. Stillness has become torture for them, because sitting with unexpressed love feels like holding a lit match. Their impulse is to charge forward and lay everything bare, but fear slams the brakes every time. The Knight of Wands reveals a romantic intensity that most people would find staggering if witnessed. This person does not love casually. The card confirms their emotional wiring runs toward all or nothing. Half measures disgust them in matters of the heart, and what they feel demands full, immediate expression. The frustration of holding back has started manifesting physically in restless nights and scattered focus lately. Their body rebels against the silence their mind keeps enforcing, demanding honesty their courage has not delivered. The Knight of Wands says the pressure valve is reaching capacity, and containment will not last much longer. The next card pulled is the Five of Cups, exposing the grief buried underneath all that fire. The Five of Cups reveals this person mourns something not yet lost, a form of anticipatory sorrow. Fear of rejection has already written a failure narrative inside their head, playing it on constant repeat. They grieve the possibility of ruining what currently exists, terrified that confession would destroy the fragile bridge. The Five of Cups shows a person haunted by imagined wreckage, fixated on loss that has not happened. Past experiences carved deep scars into their ability to trust, and those scars dictate much of their hesitation. Previous vulnerability was met with punishment, and the memory of that sting still governs their emotional risk. Old wounds have been whispering warnings constantly, telling them that honesty only invites disaster and regret. Yet beneath the grief sits an undeniable awareness that silence carries its own devastating and corrosive cost. The ache of unexpressed love is slowly poisoning their peace, eroding it one quiet evening at a time. The Five of Cups says mourning has begun, not for what was lost, but for what stays unspoken. Then we have the Emperor, revealing the rigid structure this person has built around their own feelings. The Emperor shows a mind that craves control above all else, organizing emotions into systems that feel safe. This person approaches love the way a strategist approaches conflict, calculating every variable before permitting movement. Vulnerability is categorized as weakness in their internal framework, and the Emperor confirms that belief runs deep. They constructed an entire architecture of emotional regulation, designed to prevent exactly what is happening right now. The fortress was never meant to keep others out. It was always meant to keep themselves in. Control has been their primary coping mechanism for years, and love is dismantling it from the inside out. Every rule they set about maintaining distance has been shattered quietly, one overwhelming feeling at a time. The Emperor confirms surrender terrifies this person deeply, because it means abandoning the only strategy they trust. The cards collectively reveal a truth they cannot outrun. Control has already failed, and love has already won. Okay, let us see what the cards are showing today, because tangible movement is arriving in this connection. The stagnant phase is officially ending, and what replaces it carries a momentum that cannot be ignored. Shifts are already underway between you two, subtle at first, but rapidly gaining speed and direction. The distance that existed is shrinking noticeably, and neither of you is imagining the change happening right now. Communication patterns are about to transform, moving from cautious surface exchanges into conversations that carry real substance. Expect a message or gesture that catches you off guard, something bolder than anything that came before. This person is actively making decisions that bring them physically and energetically closer to where you stand. Hesitation is being replaced by deliberate, calculated steps,
each one designed to close the remaining gap between you. The first card here is the Chariot, and it confirms that willpower is now driving every action forward. The Chariot shows a determined force moving in your direction, focused and unwavering in its chosen path. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable are being bulldozed through because this person has made an internal decision. The Chariot confirms that the debate inside of them is over, and what follows now is pure execution. They are marshaling every resource available to make this connection happen, organizing schedules and clearing space deliberately. The Chariot does not represent passive hoping. It represents a person actively steering their life toward a destination. Concrete plans are forming that involve direct contact with you, conversations that have been rehearsed and refined privately. A meeting is being orchestrated with care, whether that looks like a casual invitation or a planned encounter. The Chariot says the approach will feel confident on the surface, even if nerves are running wild underneath. This person has committed to forward motion, and nothing short of clear rejection will slow their trajectory. Watch for a shift in their presence around you, a new boldness that was not visible before recently. The Chariot confirms that action has replaced deliberation, and the wheels are already turning toward your direction tonight. The next card is the Six of Wands, and it brings victorious energy into the movement already happening. The Six of Wands reveals confidence building inside this person, fueled by small signals recently received. Something you said or did recently gave them the encouragement needed to believe that stepping forward might succeed. The Six of Wands confirms momentum is being powered by a growing sense of possibility and fresh optimism. Recognition plays a role here. They are beginning to see evidence that their feelings might actually be reciprocated. That evidence emboldened a part of them previously paralyzed, turning frozen intention into active and deliberate pursuit. The Six of Wands says a visible gesture is approaching, something others around you may also notice. This will not be a hidden whisper or coded message. The movement coming carries unmistakable clarity. Done operating in the shadows, the Six of Wands confirms that visibility is now part of the plan. Expect invitations that feel pointed, compliments that land heavier than usual, and attention that refuses to be subtle. Then we have the Page of Cups, signaling a very specific kind of communication heading your way. The Page of Cups reveals a tender, unexpected message being crafted, something deeply personal arriving soon. This could manifest as a handwritten note, a vulnerable text, or words spoken in a moment of bravery. The Page of Cups confirms the first real confession is closer than either of you currently realize tonight. The approach will carry innocence and rawness to it, stripping away every rehearsed line and calculated pretense. When this message arrives, it will feel unpolished and honest because it comes directly from an unguarded place. The Page of Cups says the timing of this communication aligns with a moment of unexpected emotional openness. Guard nothing when that moment arrives, because the sincerity behind it deserves space to land without resistance. Every card in this section confirms identical movement. Deliberate steps are being taken toward you right now. The action phase has begun, and what arrives next will make the shift between you impossible to deny.
Now, come in close because what this person keeps locked away would absolutely shake you to your core. The confessions buried inside of them are not small or simple. They are massive and all-consuming. What they hide from the world about how they feel carries a weight most people could never sustain. Every private moment alone becomes a battleground where suppressed truth fights to claw its way to the surface. They have rehearsed telling you everything hundreds of times, in the shower and in bed and while driving. The words form perfectly in solitude, but dissolve the instant any opportunity for honesty actually presents itself. Their deepest confession is this: they are not just attracted to you, they are ruined by you. The kind of ruined that reshapes preferences, that makes every past connection feel hollow by comparison tonight. Ruined in the most sacred way possible, where nothing before and nothing after will ever compare to this. The first card here is the Nine of Wands, and it reveals a confession wrapped in exhaustion. The Nine of Wands shows a person fighting themselves for so long the battle has left visible marks. Hiding what they feel has become its own form of suffering, a slow bleed they endure in silence. The Nine of Wands confirms they are emotionally battered, not from external conflict, but from internal suppression. Their secret desire is simply to stop pretending, to exhale the truth and let it exist openly. Maintaining that mask has reached a breaking point, and the Nine of Wands says they know it. What they confess silently every night is that loving you has been the most terrifying experience alive, not because the love is frightening, but because the depth of it exposed how vulnerable they truly are. They did not expect to reach a place where one person could unravel their entire sense of composure. Yet here they stand internally, stripped of every defense mechanism they spent a lifetime carefully assembling. The Nine of Wands reveals they fantasize about relief confession would bring, imagining how the weight might lift. In those fantasies, the air clears and the tension dissolves, and what remains is just raw, honest connection. They crave that release more than they have ever craved anything, but the final step still paralyzes. The Nine of Wands says the desire for honesty has become physical, a pressure building behind their ribs. The next card is the Hanged Man, exposing the sacrifice this person has been making in silence. The Hanged Man reveals they have been suspending their own needs, choosing patience over impulse at great cost. Their hidden confession is that they have given up pursuing anyone else, not out of loyalty, but obsession. No other person registers in their awareness anymore. The Hanged Man confirms fixation has narrowed to you alone. They sacrificed their own peace of mind to protect this, choosing silence over the risk of destroying it. The Hanged Man says this sacrifice was never requested. It was born from a fear they invented entirely. What they would tell you if walls came down is that you occupy their thoughts with alarming permanence. Morning arrives and you are the first thing. Night falls and you are the last thing before sleep. The Hanged Man reveals a suspended state of longing that has become their entire emotional identity right now. They exist in a space between wanting and having, and that limbo has reshaped how they experience everything. Their confession about physical intimacy is equally staggering, because closeness with you transcended anything they have ever known. The memory of your touch lives in their nervous system, replaying without warning at the most random moments. They would confess your body against theirs felt like a language, communicating truths their mouths could never speak. That physical vocabulary haunts them relentlessly because it said everything their courage has been too small to say. The silence they maintain is not indifference. It is the loudest scream trapped behind teeth that refuse. The hanged man confirms waiting has become unbearable, yet they cling to it like the only safe option. Their entire being aches to bridge the gap between secret and spoken, between wanting and finally having. Every hidden confession spiraling inside of them points to one staggering truth. You rewired their entire emotional existence. So, let us go ahead and dive into this, because the near future carries a pivotal shift. The energy surrounding this connection is reaching critical mass, and what follows will alter everything between you. Within the coming weeks, a threshold will be crossed, one that neither of you can walk back from. The buildup has been too intense and too prolonged, and the release heading your way feels inevitable now. The first card for the near future is Judgment, and it announces a moment of absolute reckoning. Judgment confirms that a powerful awakening is approaching, one that strips away every pretense and demands raw honesty. This card says a conversation will happen that changes the dynamic, permanently and without any possibility of reversal. The truth suppressed for so long will finally find its voice, and the impact will be seismic. Judgment reveals both of you will be called to rise, meeting this moment with openness and courage. The second card is the Sun, and it floods this near future with warmth and undeniable clarity. The Sun confirms that joy awaits on the other side of this confession, genuine and radiant and lasting. Once truth is spoken aloud, the heaviness plaguing this connection lifts, and something lighter takes its place. The Sun says celebration follows vulnerability here, and what blooms between you two will surprise you both. Happiness is not a distant promise here. The Sun confirms it is actively approaching your doorstep now. Light replaces shadow, and certainty replaces doubt. The bond between you finally gets to breathe fully. Here is my advice for you as you carry everything this reading has shown into the days ahead. Do not shrink from the intensity of what is coming. Let it arrive and let yourself be moved. When this person finally speaks their truth, receive it without armor and without the need to analyze it. The confession deserves to land in an open heart, not one braced for impact or guarded by wounds. Trust the instincts that have been guiding you throughout this entire journey, because those instincts have been accurate. Release any lingering self-doubt that whispers you are not worthy of this depth, because you absolutely are. Allow yourself to be loved in the way that is reaching for you, without conditions and without hesitation. The message that came through today was this: it is not just attraction, they are crazily in love. This person feels something for you that has transcended every boundary, every expectation, and every fear they carry. The cards that came through were the Ace of Cups, confirming fresh and overflowing love entering this connection. The Four of Wands revealed they view you as home, and the Two of Cups confirmed mutual recognition. The Seven of Cups mirrored your internal confusion, and strength reminded you of the courage already living inside. The Queen of Cups validated your emotional intelligence, confirming every instinct you had about this bond was correct. The Knight of Wands exposed fiery, restless desire, and the Five of Cups revealed grief born from silence. The Emperor showed rigid control crumbling under the weight of love, walls collapsing one feeling at a time. The Chariot confirmed determined forward motion, and the Six of Wands brought victorious energy to their approaching steps. The Page of Cups signaled a tender personal message arriving, raw and unpolished and completely from the heart. The Nine of Wands revealed exhaustion from hiding, and the Hanged Man exposed the sacrifice of suspended longing. Judgment announced a powerful reckoning ahead, and the sun flooded the near future with warmth and radiant clarity. This connection is extraordinary, built on a foundation of genuine emotion that most people only dream about finding. What exists between you is not ordinary attraction. It is a force that has reshaped both your lives. The love heading toward you carries an honesty that will take your breath away when it finally arrives. Trust the journey that brought you here tonight, because every card confirmed this bond is real and lasting. Thank you so much for sitting with me through this reading. Your presence and your energy mean everything. Take care of your heart and stay open, because what is meant for you is already arriving. Within the coming weeks, a threshold will be crossed, one that neither of you can walk back from. The buildup has been too intense and too prolonged, and the release heading your way feels inevitable now. The first card for the near future is Judgment, and it announces a moment of absolute reckoning. Judgment confirms that a powerful awakening is approaching, one that strips away every pretense and demands raw honesty. This card says a conversation will happen that changes the dynamic permanently and without any possibility of reversal. The truth suppressed for so long will finally find its voice, and the impact will be seismic. Judgment reveals both of you will be called to rise, meeting this moment with openness and courage. The second card is the Sun, and it floods this near future with warmth and undeniable clarity. The Sun confirms that joy awaits on the other side of this confession, genuine and radiant and lasting. Once truth is spoken aloud, the heaviness plaguing this connection lifts, and something lighter takes its place. The Sun says celebration follows vulnerability here, and what blooms between you two will